Blessings, blessings, and grand risings, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. Yeah, that is our spook name, but welcome to Grace in the Mornings. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. I'm here 3 days a week where we talk about politics, social issues, and everything in between, but we talk about it from a non-biased perspective. So as you guys get in here, I'm going to start to tell you what we're talking about today, because we don't only have protests going on related to ICE behavior outside towards us, but we also have an issue with the ICE facilities that is starting to bubble up. Okay, if you remember, most recently there's a young little baby, Mr. Liam, oh, he is so cute, who was released from the ICE facility out in Texas. I believe he was transferred all the way out there from Minneapolis. So there has been a series of protests that has happened, as well as there have been a cry out for help related to the ICE facilities, the treatment of children, and them targeting children. So let's get to it. I want to say thank you for being here with us today. You know what we do. Hit the like button as you come in. Yes. Let's go.
These were all people who were living in our communities, many of them hardworking. They were classmates, they were neighbors and friends. And all of a sudden, they're in this kind of prison, and some of them there for months and months without knowing what's going to happen to them. Liam and so many other kids were depressed and despondent. A lot of them said they weren't eating because there were at times things in the food, including worms, some of them said. The detention center itself, there's a lot of different agencies of government actually that make this thing run. And we think of ICE, and it's true that ICE has overall responsibility for it, but it's not just ICE, it's Civic, which is one of the huge private prison and detention companies. And more recently, it's also the state government. The National Guard is embedded in the Dilley Detention Center. Greg Abbott is as guilty as Donald Trump in this detention prison. I would ask folks to do a few things. Number one, reach out to your members of Congress and ask them not to fund ICE any longer.
Now, now you guys know that I'm not big on the total defund ICE thing or abolish ICE. We definitely could defund them a little bit as far as the big budget that they're getting, but I really don't support that. But let's just keep moving, because you're hearing the horrific things that's going on in these ICE facilities or how they're kept. And one of the things that, excuse me, I want you guys to kind of keep in the back of your mind, after all the migrants are gone and Trump is successful, allegedly, what's going to happen to all of these facilities? What's going to happen to all of these facilities? We're going to talk about that. Let's finish listening to what he has to say, because we need to think a little bit before we just go with the status norm. Let's go.
If you're in one of those cities like Minneapolis or somewhere else with an ICE presence, record everything and report it, because there should be accountability, whether it's now or later. And then finally, make sure that you speak up and don't be silent. There is this effort to intimidate people into silence and surrender. And we have to make sure that we don't give up, that we continue to push back.
And that's always been the political effort, to keep us silent no matter what side you're on. So let's keep that question in the back of our head of what would they do with all of these ICE facilities? So this is a flashback. Judge ordered release of 5-year-old Liam Ramos. He is so cute, and his father from the detention center. So let's just watch this, because this is kind of like a build-up. Y'all know what we do here. We kind of talk about things comprehensively, and then we break it down, talk about it like, oh, Lord.
And the latest on the ICE immigration
Thank you for being here.
A federal judge today ordered the release of 5-year-old Liam Ramos, his father. The boy's detention, as you may remember, on his way home from preschool last week, sparked international outcry. CBS's Ian Lee is in Minneapolis with an update tonight. Ian.
Jerika, this is a colder than average January here in Minnesota. While it's not stopping protesters, it's adding a new danger to migrants living in fear. Protesters took over aisles at Target stores across the Twin Cities, demanding the Minnesota-based
Okay.
stop.
Well, I guess they can't go into places that are private and go protest inside. Okay, we're still trying to clarify what's happening with Don Lemon and these crazy charges. But you see them inside. I just kind of highlighted that because we were talking about that the other day. Like, okay, you could protest, but should you have the right to go into someone's facility?
Allowing immigration enforcement activity on its properties. Outside, in sub-zero temperatures, thousands cycled through the city in honor of Alex Preddy, the second local resident fatally shot by federal agents this month.
I can't sit at home while my city is being terrorized.
Today, a setback for Minnesota. A federal judge denying the state's request to block the deployment of federal agents to Minneapolis. This, as new ICE policy allows officers to enter homes without a judicial warrant. The immigration crackdown, now in its 9th week, has sent the undocumented into hiding.
So did you hear what they said?
To enter homes without a judicial warrant.
Terrorized.
Now it's on paper now. It's on paper that they can enter our home without a judicial warrant. This is not migrants' home. It's anybody home. Let's just keep this in mind because at first it was just talk from Christy Crazy Gnome, but now it's within this judge's order. Let's listen again. This is a little bit crazy. Thank you for being here, and I'm with you, Olivia. I'm sick of all of this, but we have to be on task and see what they got planned for us because it's them today, us tomorrow. Just like I said, it was us before, black people, and it's y'all today. It's just a revolving cycle of the haves and have-nots, but we have to be prepared. What are you going to do with all these facilities?
Setback for Minnesota. A federal judge denying the state's request to block the deployment of federal agents to Minneapolis. This, as new ICE policy allows officers to enter homes without a judicial warrant. The immigration crackdown now.
So I'll clarify that was an ICE policy, not within the judge's opinion. So I do want to clarify that because I thought he said it was within the judge's opinion. I'm like, we have Schitt's Creek already.
Sent the undocumented into hiding.
A veces tenemos que comer, a veces no.
Alexander from Honduras says, sometimes we have food to eat, sometimes we don't. You can't work right now then.
5 semanas de no trabajar, de no ganar $1.
He says he's gone 5 weeks without work and a paycheck. He shares a home with his brother and cousin, and they rely on a local nonprofit to pay rent.
Now, let's just keep this in mind. I want you guys to remember, Mega, they pay a good amount of taxes, dog. Even though they don't post a benefit for a lot of the services, they actually pay a lot of taxes, the migrants. So I'm just going to take a whole glass and shut up on that note because there's a lot of spending going on. And guess who's going to get the blunt end of the action after they kick our butt? So at least 4 children detained by ICE immigration authorities in Minnesota. So this is what's setting out outrage. I know y'all guys talked about Biden's policy and how many children he had in ICE custody and things like that. So I'm going to bring this up right now as well because it's they're separating the parents from the children. The children are being traumatized, and we're going to show you some of the conditions that's going on right now. Right, even adults are not even surviving in the ICE facility. Let's just be honest. We have right now the number is 53 as of today. 53 deaths since 2025 in the ICE facility.
As part of its immigration crackdown, among them a 5-year-old boy whose father was also taken by ICE agents as they returned home from preschool in Minneapolis. The Department of Homeland Security said the boy's father was in the country legally, but did not provide details to mention any criminal history. The move has shocked.
Did they say legally? Not illegally, but legally.
Which has been on edge since an immigration officer shot and killed a U.S. citizen there earlier this month. US President Trump says he will soon announce his pick for the next Federal Reserve chair, replacing
Lord.
Jerome Powell, who will retire in May.
We're going to be getting into that, I think, next week, where we're going to go over what he was talking about in Davos, his financial plan, and how it's going to affect us. But let's get to this. Let's move forward. Let's keep this broadcast moving forward. This is what happens when children enter the ICE facility. And this is what we want to start talking about right now. These ICE facilities are going to still be here for us. Remember that. All right. We're setting the precedent. And you know what? Let me get this off my chest right now. Honestly, I think the way that we are handling the children in this particular situation, and us as a nation that's not crying out for it, we're just as worse as what's happening in Palestine. I'm just going to take a whole glass and shut the hell up right there, because that gets you censored. We're just as worse, but we're sacrificing these babies to the system. Now, when you listen to this, you're going to hear how horrific it is, because you heard what happened with Liam. He literally got transferred to Texas in less than 24 hours as it was being watched nationally. All right. So let's just keep this in mind. I think they're numbing us up. And if we don't cry out now, when it happens to our kids, or they start to be more harsher to younger people in our nation, we're not going to have any excuse. All right. We're not going to have any excuse. All right. The abuse is going to continue. Let's go. Hold on. Where's our value, Matt? Excuse me.
Custody by immigration enforcement officers in Minneapolis. Have you seen this photo? Many of us have, and it shows a 5-year-old boy being taken into custody by immigration enforcement officers in Minneapolis. Now, recently, that boy was able to return home after spending some time in a detention center, but many people are now asking, what happens to these children when they're apprehended by ICE or DHS? Let's get the facts. If the child has a parent or legal guardian available, the child stays with that adult under the supervision of Immigration and Customs Enforcement or the Department of Homeland Security. However, if a child is unaccompanied, meaning they're under 18, don't have lawful immigration status, and don't have a legal parent or guardian in the U.S., they're transferred to the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which falls under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
So let's just kind of think about this. How are you getting kids that don't have parents, first and foremost? Because I thought we're tracking them through their parents and all of the criminal things that their parents is doing. So we're literally targeting children. That's why I was like, wow. It kind of blew me to see ICE starting to go into schools, and the story that highlighted that was the gentleman who got shot. I forgot what state it was, because we was talking about who got shot. This person got shot. We was creating a rap video about ICE. They shot a gentleman outside of a school because they were he was trying to tell them, like, hey, school is coming out. I think you may want to move from this area so you don't traumatize the kids. But they were targeting them already. All right, children. Let's make this make sense. Can someone in the audience kind of help me figure out the why behind targeting children over the illegal criminal first? I just want to make this make sense, because in my head, I'm thinking sex trafficking. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm thinking sacrifice. I'm thinking, you're going to hear, because these kids are transferred into, let me just keep going. This is just blowing me, okay? It's just blowing me. Let's keep it going. I'm going too far too quick. Let's go.
At that point, the process of trying to find a vetted sponsor for a child begins. It can be a close relative or trusted adult who can take care of the child.
It can be a relative or a trusted adult. At this point, it is already out the window that this child does not have an adult, because they already took them by themselves. And this is where they have these sponsorship programs. And allegedly, these sponsors can take up to 5 or 6 kids without giving significant information, background, and all type. That's going to be a whole separate broadcast about the sponsors who actually takes these children and where these kids end up. Let's go.
While immigration proceedings move forward. If ORR cannot find a sponsor, the child will remain in federal care. They can be held in shelters, group homes, or foster-style placement. After the child is released from ORR custody, the sponsor is responsible for making sure the child shows up to immigration court. We here at the National Investigative Unit analyzed data from the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and what we found is that last year, 24,259 unaccompanied children were actually released to a sponsor, and currently in HHS's care, there are more than 2,400 children. Helping you get the facts, I'm John Cardinal.
All right, remember that number,
Have you seen
guys.
this photo?
Please
Many
remember
of us-
that number. We're at 24,000 children that's released to sponsors. And this was the same thing that people were complaining
Disturbing you.
about Biden and the children disappearing with these sponsors. And it's so crazy because an Epstein article popped up, guys. Give me 1 second. This is ridiculous because this is what I'm thinking. We should not be targeting children at all. All right, so let's keep this broadcast moving because we do got a lot to show you this morning. I want to say thank you for being here, guys. You are amazing. And let's see what people are saying about the ICE facilities as the protests increase. Let's watch this.
Are you a parent? Watch this.
This morning, details from inside a Texas detention facility where children are being held, descriptions of what it really is like in there. New court documents are
So
revealing
wait,
that immigrants.
hold on, let's stop real quick. The guy said, Bill, you said, yeah, illegals is illegals. There's no age limit, goofy. 5-year-old came here by himself? Came here by themselves? I'm kind of highlighting system issues and kind of looking at things expansively because I think we have a sex trafficking issue going on right now, still in the middle of Epstein files. Okay? All right. It's not normal for 5-year-olds and 4-year-olds to come here by themselves. They came here with some type of adults. Something is not right. But let's keep it going. She thinks she's Oprah. Yes, I do. Thank you. Welcome to the broadcast. All right, let's finish watch this. Thank you for being here, guys. Seriously, though. I'm here to talk about these topics comprehensively. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. I'm not a Democrat, Republican. I'm a separatist, a separate from the bullshit. And I'm hoping to spark some logic in people, critical thinking, and your heart while we're watching all of this unfold in front of us every single day. I don't want you guys to be traumatized, to have a bad day, none of that. But I want you guys to think because at the end of the day, this particular subject that we're talking about, we're going to be left with the blunt end of it. Not only the policies that they have set for us, for the migrants that's going to fall on us, not only the facilities that they have that's going to be allegedly, they're going to be shut down? No. What are they going to do? They're going to find a way to privatize them and fill them up with us. Okay, let's keep it moving.
Families detailing describing long days with limited access to drinkable water, worms and mold in food, and being denied medical care. An immigration rights group telling CNN this. Families tell us that their children are weak, faint, pale, and often crying because they are so hungry. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez is joining us now. She's got much more on this. Tell us more about your new reporting, Priscilla.
Well, Kate, this really offers a glimpse into what is happening at this family detention facility in Dilley, Texas, a place where reporters can't visit. But in this case, we are getting these court declarations from families who are detained there through immigration attorneys who are revealing the conditions. Now, Kate,
Hold on. They can't eat, but they have $112 billion going to ICE and these ICE facilities. Well, ICE facilities actually getting about 85 billion, I think. If I'm saying the number right, we went over it. So where is all the money going? Okay, these are just questions that I'm asking. Where is the money going? If people are complaining about horrible conditions and they can't eat.
Kate, just to level set here, these are families who have been apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border or even in the United States at encounters like ICE check-ins or vehicle checkpoints. Now, these declarations are about this residential facility, as it's called, but detainees are calling it a prison. Let me read you what one mother who's detained with her daughter had to say. She said, quote, "It's a prison here. It is truly a living hell. It's not a good place for anyone. All of the children here are suffering. The mothers are crying, especially for their children. We are all suffering." And this is really a theme in the more than 24 declarations that were filed. Despondent children, as you mentioned there, medical conditions going poorly treated. Children unable to sleep because the lights are always on. And when we're talking about children here, we're talking as young as infants. There was a 9-month-old mentioned in one of the declarations, as well as teenagers. Now, Kate, I have covered family detention for many years. Oftentimes it has been used, especially for families who just crossed the U.S.-Mexico
border, so they don't really have bearings in the United States. In this case, however, what was striking with these court declarations is these are families who were living in the United States. These are kids who were enrolled in school and going to school. So it is a stark reality for them now to be at this detention facility and not have the typical routines that they are used to. And that is why in these declarations they say kids are regressing while they're held.
I don't even know what to say.
Now, I was here thinking something, guys, honestly, because I keep kind of like referring back to the Epstein issue. And, you know, he trafficked children across state lines, country lines. I mentioned to you guys that Haitian children were taken by proof, by fact, by me knowing children were taken. And then I look at this particular situation and I'm just going to throw something out there. I do believe that we're going to get more information related to Epstein connection to not only the elite government officials, but somehow connected to these migrant children and these sponsors. It's just something that just came across my head, but this is something that I'm thinking about because this is bigger than what we know. That's why I look at things like pieces to, because where are they getting all these kids? Where are the kids going? Because it happened in the Biden administration and it's happening now. It's been continuing to happen where we were seeing kids in front of judges testifying, can't even speak English, and all of a sudden we don't hear anything about them. All right, so I just had to throw that out there. Something is brewing, and it's just not right.
Has sued the federal government alleging inadequate food, medical care, education, and safety. What were the most striking examples you witnessed that illustrate those failures?
Well, there are really profound problems with basic needs like food and water. So we have seen and heard a lot of things about children not getting child-friendly food, not being able to eat what's offered. As you mentioned, people reported vegetables that were moldy or had worms in them. People have gotten sick following meals. And there's really not food that's appropriate for small children. So, for example, one mother told us that in order to try and get her child to eat anything, she had to suck the sauce off each piece of pasta to try and get him to just eat some kind of plain meal that's not the Teddy Grahams and juice that's available. And we know that the detention of children of any kind is really harmful. And so what we see is that as kids are in these prolonged restrictive settings, they really begin to deteriorate. They have regressions in behavior. One mother explained that her previously happy toddler was starting to hit her and hit himself in the face because he was so distraught over the conditions in which they were living.
Oh, I'm sorry. That hurt my feelings. But you know what? Some of the same things happened during the COVID. I'm going to be honest. Our kids was regressed back because of them being homeschooled and them not having the socialization skills that they needed at that time. So I wanted to just highlight this. This is also the number of kids in the detention facility. And then we're going to start running into how many detention facilities we have, the protests that's starting to go around at the detention facilities. So it's not just the ICE headquarters. They're going to the detention facilities. And I believe it's about to be a problem. I think it's going to increase and it's going to be a problem right now.
It's detained by ICE has gone up by a factor of.
It's not just a protest. This is a human rights violation. And the world is looking at us. Not only we are practicing human rights violations against United States citizens, but the people who are now in these, i.e. concentration camps, because that's what it is.
6 since Donald Trump took office a year ago. Let me say that again. They have detained 6 times as many kids since Donald Trump took office.
Listen, so we're trying to figure out what they're doing with the kids.
Daniel Biss, and I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois to bring sanity and justice to a world gone mad. Listen, this is fundamentally wrong. Liam Ramos, a 5-year-old not long ago, was taken by ICE on the way home from preschool and then taken across the country and locked up. Listen, thank God a judge has now ordered him released, but Liam Ramos is not alone. This system is completely
broken. The system is sick. I came out.
Oh, big, big, bad, beautiful ICE. Let's put it in the comments. Go ICE, go ICE. They're so big and bad that they literally just going after kids. It takes 10 of them to arrest one male, one person. It takes 7 of them. Go ICE. Good job. Now, this, I just want to show you, there were 2 more students from the Minneapolis area who was taken by ICE most recently, last 5 days. That's why I said it's going to be an outcry. Watch, it's going to be a problem because now the world is starting to focus on the children that is being affected by this. This is the second Gaza. This is the second Gaza. Welcome to America.
Agents. Dear Immigration and Custom Enforcement. Dear ICE. Hey ICE. Dear ICE agents. Dear ICE agents, I hope you're respectful to everyone and show kindness. I also hope you respect all people from all different countries and around the world. I think as a community, we should respect people's homes and the people themselves. These people are important to us and others. We should treat everyone the same, even if we don't know them.
So I'm going to read this to you guys. It says on Thursday, ICE detained 2 more Valley View Elementary students, a 2nd grader and a 5th grader. At least 3,800 children has been detained by ICE since President Trump took office last year. So that number is abstract, but I wanted to highlight that there's a cry out now because it doesn't look like ICE is just targeting Americans. They punk asses targeting kids. I'm just being honest, ICE. Come on, you gotta do better. What training did you get that you can't even come up with a plan, comprehensive plan to get the actual criminal migrants that's here that's selling drugs? Like what we just showed you yesterday, we got hundreds of them coming in, especially from China. But it's just kind of weird to me. You see what I'm saying? So I really feel some way, especially after seeing that video that happened in Minneapolis that no one is really talking about ICE taking the Spanish lady or whoever she is into the porta potty, guys. Yeah. And his partner just go in the car and go sit down and wait for him after he busts his butt on the floor, gets up and walk in the porta potty with him. That was very alarming. So I can imagine what they're doing to unaccompanied children. ICE held hundreds of migrant children longer than federal law allowed. Why? It's the why for me. So they're starting to look into this because there are abuses going on at ICE facility. I wanted to add that to this live because there's numerous women who have been AR'd, but I'm going to save that for a whole nother live because I was like, I'm not about to blow y'all mind today, but let's watch this a little bit more so you guys can get ready for what may happen to us. Because if they're comfortable doing this to them, they're comfortable doing it to us. And let's just keep this real here. After this broadcast, y'all will get a series because I'm putting in an algorithm. Y'all will get a series of ads that come. That's been coming up for me. Have you been locked up in Illinois juvenile facility and you suffered sexual abuse or any type of abuse? Please call my law office. Or have you been in a juvenile facility in Jersey? I don't know why I'm getting that. I don't know if you guys are getting that, but baby, something is coming out about our juvenile facilities out here in America as well, where our young women and young boys who were supposed to be rehab were being abused and put out there on a stroll. I actually read a case about an advocate who did that to a young lady after she was ex-trafficked. He tried to basically sexual abuse her. Yeah. So it's not just here. I want you guys to know that it's just not here. And if we accept it here, we're going to accept it with us. Actually, it's heaven. Let's go. Thank you for being here, guys. Please hit the like button.
Scripps News ongoing investigation into private jails housing immigrant detainees. We're learning much more about children.
Look at my baby
held by
wig.
ICE.
Y'all talking about me. I'm sorry, I got distracted because people be coming on my live talking about my hair. Look at her wig or talking about black girls' weird wigs. Shut up, y'all. I love y'all. Let's finish watch this. I got distracted. Look at her wig, y'all. Look at that. Okay. Move forward, girl.
Children
Good
have been
morning.
locked up longer than allowed by federal court
Sorry.
order. Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra is live in our DC newsroom. And Patrick, I mean, these children are with their families or guardians in almost all cases, but still a lot of concern about their well-being. What have you found out?
Well, ICE has always said, Holly, that relatively
I don't
few
believe
children
that.
are being.
She said they're with their parents in most cases. We got a number of 24,000 that's not with parents.
Arrested and detained. But our Scripps News investigation found hundreds of immigrant children being locked up for weeks and weeks at a time. Viral video captures masked federal officers arresting Guatemalan parents and their 2 kids at an outing in Chicago's Millennium Park. Photos circulated online show a little girl holding a doll as the families led away.
Did you just grab the...
Yes, they just got off the street. The mother and children were released for now, but Scripps News has learned hundreds of other children are being held by ICE longer than a 20-day limit set by a federal court. Scripps News obtained a document ICE filed under court order in an ongoing case monitoring immigrant children in detention. That record shows more than 600 juveniles in ICE custody at some point during the month of July. The children are being arrested and detained with their families while going through lengthy deportation proceedings, many ending up at a sprawling detention center in Dilley, Texas, outside San Antonio, that reopened in March. It's owned and operated by Core Civic, a for-profit company contracting with ICE to hold immigrants.
So you hold on, wait, y'all. We're going to keep Core Civic in our mind because you think Core Civic just going to disappear? This is a private-owned facility, like private-owned business that runs jails. You think they just going to disappear? No, they have contracts with the United States, with our government, and they have to keep those jails full. Okay, guys, what you're watching is literally what happens to the Black community and the conspiracy behind hip hop, where that was used to set a tone, allegedly, in our Black community by people who own shares in the rap industry and the prison industry. This is a story that is the truth. People who have said it, they went to this meeting and they had it set up where they're going to keep the prisons full. So if they did that to us through hip hop years ago, I'm just keeping it real. What you think that Core Civic is going to be doing? They're going to just disappear after they make billions of dollars after this? Yeah, right. I'm just saying, I got that mind that I'll just be thinking about stuff. Let's watch a minute of this, and then we're going to move forward.
Becky Wallazin represents children at Dilley and visited there last month.
What I saw is what we've seen almost every other time that we've gone.
Kate, I would love for you to add more to the conversation as far as critical response, not just, your emotions. Oh, this lady is spouting lies. I'm showing you different broadcasts that's showing you this. I'm just kind of thinking outside of the box here, and I want you guys to think outside of the box. These are not my words. These are the news broadcasts that you guys are not watching or not coming up in your algorithm. This is what I do here. So it's not about lies. It's literally about having critical thinking and just looking at the subject from an open mind. Welcome, okay? Because I don't lie at all. Let's go.
Which is really unfortunate because we've been raising a lot of concerns now for months and months.
Since 2015, there's been a court-ordered limit of 20 days that children can stay in ICE detention. But the ICE records we reviewed show over 300 migrant children held at just Dilley alone over that 20-day maximum. One child detained 89 days.
It's really hard for kids.
Wow.
Like, kids are really scared the whole time, and it also really undermines parents' ability to even help their kids deal with what's going on. And I think that every time we've gone, we've encountered a situation that's really medically concerning.
So my question is too, hold on. My question is this. I have a question. If they take the kids and the kids don't have parents and they hold them in the jail, what is the actual plan for the kids? Are they deporting them back to the country to get into the foster care system? Or are they staying with the sponsors that's already in America and they're staying in America. Because if they're still here and they're with sponsors and they don't go deported to anybody or to family outside the country, as you can see, someone was there for 80 days. So obviously that child had to go to a sponsor because he may have been trafficked inside of this country, i.e., what we showed you yesterday, what was happening with the Chinese nationals, where they're afraid for their kids. Because their kids are being taken and given to the snakeheads, the people who, that run the traffic and get the people up in here. So I just had a question. What's happening to the kids after they are with the sponsors? They become American citizens then? I'm just trying to figure out the process, but let's make it sense. So now, we have congresswomen. We have the Congress that is actually addressing this right now. Let me see. I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm trying to see the full clip for you guys. Bear with me, guys. I was zapped, just to give y'all a heads up. I was zapped yesterday. I've been zapped on my other streaming equipment, meaning someone has been blocking my IP address and things like that because I speak in controversy against government behaviors. So I need you guys to help me. Hit the like button. Help me get in the algorithm, because freedom of speech is free for everyone, and I should not have to go through this. We're gonna do a full live on that, but I'm just giving you a guys heads up. I've been censored by the Democrats and Democrat activists and gang stalk, so it's kind of hard for me to make regular lives the way I used to, if you guys see my old content, but I'm really trying to work on it. So just bear with me. I got zapped yesterday. Literally my iPhone stopped working. It wouldn't screen, like I was streaming, but it would not show on the screen, and other things happened. So I literally have to get new equipment and all types of stuff. So censorship is real. So the things that I talk about here is because they don't want you to know it, and I'm not gonna stop. So let's listen to Susan Bolnick, Congress representative, and what she has to say about the ICE facility. Let's go. Thank you, God, for giving me freedom of speech. Okay, hit the like button.
Pierre, we are thinking about you and Rodney and want to do everything we can. It is unbelievable. And Ms. White, thank you for talking about what used to be when we had civil rights and civil liberties enforcement. But we know right now that under the Trump administration, ICE has become an inhumane, lawless agency. In my home state of Oregon and across the country, we're seeing this extreme overreach, the brutal and aggressive tactics as ICE is hunting, arresting, and then detaining people, some of them U.S. citizens, most of them with no criminal record. Thank you, Representative Jayapal, for pointing out civil versus criminal violations.
And the next highest is children.
And many are parents of young children. As you mentioned, Sarah, your children are now without their father. We've seen ICE continuously escalate these horrific actions throughout the year. And today we're here to talk about the additional abuses that are suffered by people in detention and in detention centers across the country. These abysmal conditions, you really brought them to light with your testimony. The inhumane conditions, they're not getting proper medical care, scarce access to food and water. Ms. Pierre, you really highlighted that. I want to say, I read the October 22nd, 2025 letter about the horrific experiences of pregnant detainees. And I must say, as a woman and a mother, I was gut-wrenching and I'm outraged. Nobody should have to suffer that kind of mistreatment and indignity. Any detainee in any condition and under any kind of moral, ethical, medical, or religious principles, this is disgraceful. In many cases, ICE agents coerce detainees to sign voluntary departure forms, sometimes without consent or translation, and sometimes asking detainees to sign the paperwork every day. Sometimes they revoke access to phone calls until detainees sign deportation paperwork, which is blatantly illegal. Sometimes they have them sign it without counsel. ICE's abuses even extend to some detainees who want to sign detention paperwork voluntarily. I have a constituent in Oregon who wants to go back to Mexico and sign the paperwork, but instead of deporting him, ICE transferred him not once but twice to different detention facilities.
Wow.
First to Texas and then to Louisiana, and held him in solitary confinement.
Yo, they just want to torture people. That's what I see. That's just torture. The guy said, fuck it, send me back to Mexico. And instead of them sending him back to Mexico, because that's what they're supposed to be doing, mega, they're just sending him to ICE facility that we're paying for, allegedly, their housing, their needs when they go to the ICE facility, even though we know they're not getting it. That blew me just there. The guy said, let me sign the papers. And now they're like, no, this is torture. This is torture and this is human sacrifice. This is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing.
Why is ICE holding him? It's cruel. It makes no sense. He signed the paperwork voluntarily. Maybe this is because the private prison company gets paid for every day he's there. It's
Bam. There we go.
really outrageous. For my state of Oregon, we don't have a detention center, so people are sent immediately up to Tacoma, Washington. It's almost at capacity. Detainees are often quickly transferred to other facilities across the country, creating additional hardships for families, lawyers, congressional staff like mine who are trying to assist our constituent. And I want to ask Ms. White, how does moving detainees across the country create barriers to due process?
Yeah, absolutely. When detainees are transferred, it can take a long time for people to even know. I'm talking about family members, I'm talking about attorneys.
And this is how they get disappeared. This is literally a prison and war game that's going on right now. Do you hear what they said they're doing? They're just transferring the detainees from facility to facility because of capacity issues. So they're acting like they're controlling capacity issues and they're transferring them all around. And some of them like send me out. I'll go back to Mexico. But like she said, and what we broke down, is someone's getting paid from this and they're going to want to get paid after this. She's almost done. I got to just let this finish out and then we're going to move on. We're almost at the end of the broadcast. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in, opening your mind, looking at this from another perspective, non-biased, and kind of seeing like, hey, something's going on here bigger than what we are perceiving.
To even know where their client or loved one has been transferred. That can impede legal access when filings need to happen very quickly, which I'm sure is something my co-panelists can talk about as well.
Thank you very much. I also want to mention the bond hearings that was brought up. That's been an issue as well in the Pacific Northwest, and I was able to help a constituent get out of detention because of that conflict between the federal court judge who said you get to post a bond. His paperwork even said, we can't give you a bond hearing, but if we did, it would be this amount. So I hope that gets resolved in favor of letting people get out. I know the ACLU was one of the senders of the letter about the pregnant detainees. Wow. Have you actually received a response from ICE?
Oh my God. Let's listen, guys. This is about the pregnant detainees. I was hearing so much horrific story. I'm going to have to do that late night. I'm not going to wake y'all up to the stories about that in the morning. But let's listen to what she has to say.
To that letter. Not that I'm aware of. That's not surprising. We frequently do not get responses. And real quickly, I just want to invite all of my colleagues to join me. I recently...
Okay, so they didn't respond to the letter about the pregnant women. Because, I'm not going to talk about it. Let's go.
Use House Resolution 6349, the Migrant Due Process Protection Act, that will allow people to have their removal hearings held either by telephone or video conference to keep them safe. So... Okay,
so what's happening? We don't have enough judge to process the hearings. They're not doing it through telecommunications, slowing down the process, and these people are being transferred from facility to facility, keeping these beds filled. So what is their name? Core Civic can get paid. All right. Now let's keep this broadcast moving. ICE confirms plan to build temporary detention facility in Newport. Right now, they have over 200 ICE facilities and they're planning to expand and make more. What blew me, my last live, people were talking about they're not defunding the education system. We're going to talk about that because it's dismantled the federal education system, but they about to make more prisons here. America is turning into a prison state, or has it always been? I'm just saying. We see what's unraveling in front of our face. This is beyond politics. This is survival.
We will continue the fight to ensure that the federal government treats us with respect.
ICE is now confirming what the mayor of Newport says they've known for months. The federal agency had, and may still have, plans to build a detention facility in the coastal community. The news comes from a court filing made by an ICE official. It says the plans for a temporary detention facility are on hold until the spring. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to do the same thing that they did to the Georgia police training facility. You know they tried to RICO those people who was out there. Thank God they wasn't able to RICO them because that case would create precedent. So if y'all didn't hear, the ICE facility, I mean not the ICE, the training facility out here in Georgia, like 2 years ago, got ran down on by activists. They were throwing monatomic cocktails, bombs. It was just like it was so crazy. And that's what you're gonna see happen at these facilities. When people start doing their research about who is Core Civic and who are these private owners and start to connect them to the Jewish, I'm saying it in a way I don't get in trouble, people are going to have a fucking fit. Mega, you're going to have a fit. These are things that I already know about, but I'm just trying to ease it down the road so you guys can kind of put the pictures together, because that is who is help fueling this right now. But let's just keep it going, because they're about to start protesting about these new facilities that Trump wants to open. Let's go.
And I'm Deborah
Where's he getting the
So we have a
money?
lot to cover tonight. We'll dig into what those court documents reveal about the Newport detention
I
facility.
hope they build it too, Sniper, and they go door to door and they knock on your door, bring you in there by mistake as a citizen, and then deport your ass. I do, Sniper. I pray for you.
Facility plan. We'll walk you through what answers
Thank
we're
you
still
for
working
being
to get
here.
from DHS
Yo,
as well.
snapshot,
Congresswoman
Sniper.
Val Hoyle speaks with us about what she saw at the ICE detention center in Tacoma today, where many detainees are being held from Oregon.
K2's Jennifer Singh is digging into how immigration enforcement is leading to a spike in kids withdrawing from one local school district and the consequences it could have.
Plus, protests nationwide are growing in response to ICE actions. What
Here we
activists
go.
are calling for tomorrow.
But first, K2's Christina Giardinelli spent the day in Newport digging into ICE's plans for a facility there and what it could mean going forward.
A court filing confirming what Lincoln County and Newport leaders say they've known for months. ICE plans to build a detention facility here in Newport. The plans were put on hold after U.S. Coast Guard pulled this location here at the Newport airport back in December. The declaration saying the U.S. Coast Guard pulled the location in early December on the same day fishermen's wives in Lincoln County sued the Coast Guard and the Department of Homeland Security. The lawsuit asks a federal judge to force the Coast Guard to keep their rescue helicopters stationed in Newport. The declaration filed in that lawsuit this week says plans for any ICE facility are on hold until at least May 1st.
Thank Jesus. Slow it down. And no, I'm a separatist. I separate from the BS. And also, I don't really subscribe to stupid categories that America make, because it's pretty much tricknology and put y'all in category. You're a Republican, Democrat, you're left, if you're a rightist. No, I'm not part of a gang. I'm part of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ gang. And that's the only person that I care about, honestly. I'm just going to be honest. That's the gang that I'm with. So it's really ridiculous to me that we are grown adults and we be like, what are you, a leftist? What are you, a rightist? You're a fucking Democrat. I can't believe that we're still talking like this. That's why I really know that we need a better education system in America. Literally, we're children in our second childhood, and we all have children and grandchildren. And this is what I go through in the comments, because I don't know if they're trolls or bots. I pray that they are. I really don't pray that they're actually human beings behind this that think like this. But it makes sense because of the situation we're in. You're a little bit spiritually blinded while kids are being sex trafficked, while our business, while our financial situation is being dismantled, highlighting that we're on a fractional reserve banking system that's really not money, and we're investing our whole life into this shit and not really paying attention that it's gonna implode in front of our face because we're in the middle of politics. Let me just take a whole glass and shut the hell up, because that comment really just blows me, because I'm dealing with adolescent children. No matter how I articulate myself, no matter what wig I have on, short hair, long hair, no one gets the point of these broadcasts that, bitch, we're in trouble. Do you fucking understand that? Motherfucker, don't matter who you are, right, left. It's about poor and the rich, and motherfucker, we in trouble. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. Okay? It really fucking blows me. ACLU, let's see what the hell.
ACLU reported 95% of deaths in immigration detention over the years were preventable had these detainees been given adequate medical and mental health care. Nearly half of the individuals who have passed away in ICE custody died within a month of being detained. 6 of these people died within just 1 week. Aside from the number of detainees, critics of the administration say there are other differences leading to worse conditions inside facilities. Internal oversight offices meant to monitor ICE detention are severely understaffed compared to past years.
Because nobody want to work there, okay? Let me stop right here with this video because you know what? Guess what, guys? I have to say something. I think that the American citizens are noticing that the shootings that has been happening with ICE against American citizens, they looking like minority. They looking like migrants, like Spanish. In the news, it's coming up like, oh, Spanish ICE officers are more responsible for the shootings. I have to laugh because I talked about how they're using foreign nationals to fill the spots that we won't do as Americans because we're so fucking privileged or uneducated. So they're bringing them in. That's why they're letting these Chinese nationals come in secretively, as we talked about yesterday, one of the highest rate of migration legally, then it turns illegal, just like Mexico. It's happening right in front of us, guys. Okay, let's go. I was just, I'll be going to the left a little bit, but please hit the like button. ICE detention turns deadly in 2025, worse than 2 decades. And this is brought by, I think they're like an Indian news broadcast station. And the reason why I want to bring you Wuhan, I like them because they were one of the people who put me up on Ovid before it was even out here. So I've been watching them, but they keep it 100% real. So let's see what they're talking about internationally, because we need to know how they feel about us, okay? They're not only laughing at us, but they want to do business with us. They don't want to deal with us. Again, we're turning into an inhumane state. We're going into the same conditions that America was in after the emancipation and proclamation of the slave, or right around that time, where internationally they were looking at America as fucking savages. You're savage, and you have no innovative ways to actually make money in a holistic way. So you got to be barbaric. We're doing the same shit right now. I'm just saying, let's go. Because you see the money that's being made with these ICE facilities. You see how much money is being shunted into the ICE sector and away from needed things that we need. Again, Social Security, our educational system, snaps. Yes, I don't receive none of it. I work for myself. I do what I got to do. But one day I probably would, especially the way the system is set the fuck up in inflation. We need to have it. But I'm going to shut up, because after right here is, low vibrational. Just don't make sense to some people. We're in deep shit. Let's go.
With Donald Trump's escalating actions against migrants, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is facing fresh scrutiny, and not just on the streets, but also inside its detention centers. The spotlight on ICE intensified after the fatal shooting of a protester, Renee Nicole Good, in Minneapolis on the 7th of January this year.
Wait, what if they do an uproar in the ICE facility? I hope I don't predict that. It just came to my head. They have way more migrants there than actual officers. And they just have them like in gated chains, like gated blocks. Like anything can happen. This is a formula for a disaster.
But new agency data shows that for many migrants, the greatest danger may come after the arrest. In just the first 10 days of 2026, at least 4 people have died while in ICE custody. 3 of those deaths were announced in a 2-day span from 9th and 10th of January.
Jesus.
That's an alarming start to the year. All 4 were men between 42 and 68 years old. 2 were from Honduras, 1 from Cuba, and 1 from Cambodia. Now, ICE says the 2 died from heart-related health issues, while the causes of the other 2 deaths remain unclear.
We're going to stop right there. One of the family members, I think the Cuban family member, is suing. They're suing. Everybody's suing the federal government right now. So I believe that the detainee that was Cuban, the family is suing. Hold on. Give me 1 second. We're going to get to start wrapping this up. Guys, 32 people died in ICE facility. That was in 2025. And we just made you aware. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like looking at some articles that I'm about to get at and finish this broadcast. And we're going to talk about it. Death in detention warns the horror behind the ICE wall. So we kind of went into that. What's going on, the feeding, they're not feeding them, they're not clothing them, they're not giving them medical sustaining services that they need, i.e., you remember the old lady that we told you about, where her older granddaughter was trying to get her out of the ICE facility because she had a heart problem, and they wasn't giving her heart medicine, and the detainees was taking care of her, and her legs were swelling up. I hope she didn't die. This is what we're going on right now. So this is up the closing to our live today. Trump will expand the efforts of building ICE facilities. The warehouse, they're looking to build this warehouse. Will the warehouse become an ICE detention center? And this is where we're going to be getting more protest going on right now. Let me read this article. The Trump administration planned to rapidly expand immigration detention sites, and it's hitting a snag. Many residents don't like the idea of local warehouses being converted into deportation centers. You remember, so the Tin Hatters guys, you remember when we were kind of concerned about the Walmart facilities that's shutting down and they're just sitting there? I think someone needs to cross-reference the Walmart facilities that shut down versus the 200 ICE facilities. We have 200 ICE facilities in the United States. That means that we at least have 4 or 3 per state. Immigration and Custom Enforcement has purchased an attempt to buy at least a dozen commercial businesses since December in the state of Texas, Mississippi, New York, Oregon. USA Today has found court records and other disclosures show sales ranging from tens of millions of dollars from our money up to $100 million per warehouse. We're buying the place where they're going to lock us up. Okay, because they're going door to door. They're even going Don Lemon. You know, people are just talking. I'm surprised he didn't end up in an ICE facility. Shout out to you. You made it out. But in some cases, public outrage has led deals to collapse as local politicians from both parties have sided with concerned residents. Shout out to the people who have logic. Okay. In Oklahoma City, after several protests and a packed city council meeting, a company that planned to sell its warehouse to ICE backed out of the deal and moved cheers throughout the audience. Republican Mayor David Holt supported these efforts. In a Democrat-led state, Salt Lake City, a company vowed not to sell a warehouse that they were being accosted by the ICE representative for more than a 7,500 bed detention center. So I wanted to just highlight, I'm going to put this article as U.S. Today, that it's not only Democrats, it's not only Republicans, it's human beings who realizing something ain't right. And this is not happening. So shout out to the people who actually know where and how to get the job done. We mentioned this. Go to your local officials, go to your council meetings, figure out what are their plans to help protect you from ICE. What legal counsel do they have to help you just in case you get locked up, no matter if you're a migrant or not. Okay, baby. I'm saying this is very important. And now they're focusing on not selling properties to these private-owned companies that are running the ICE facility. Okay, mind you, we don't know nothing about the contracts that they set up with them. These contracts be 10 years, 20 years of saying, hey, you have to keep our facilities filled up with this amount of people, this, that, and the third. This is the predatory contracts that they have with these facilities, these facility owners, these jail owners. Okay? We have a problem. So as of February 2026, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement utilized over 200 detention facilities nationwide. With recent reports including around 212 to 225 active facilities holding immigrants. Okay? So where's the extra 25? This system, which has expanded significantly, includes dedication to building and obtaining new detention centers, county jails, and contracted facility. Primary location in states like Texas and Louisiana. What happened to Alligator Alcatraz? Is it open? Could somebody tell me? Mega, they spend millions of our dollars. And guess what? Me and you still broke. We still can't get a tax break, but they spending billions. Have you ever touched billions of dollars? We never saw it in our life. And we just let them talk about it like it's another year. 2 billion here, 1 billion here. No, I'm not filing taxes till I don't know when. Now, let's just close off here because I had a little disagreement with people. I don't understand what's wrong with them. How do they not see that we fucked up? Talking about, no, ain't nothing wrong with our education system. We just talked about all of this shit, all of the money that they're spending on ICE and everything. So let's just clarify this because they said just do a simple Google search. Trump is helping our education system. It is the prison to prison pipeline. They say, fuck the schools. Remember it was school to prison pipeline? We don't need the school. Let's listen to watch AI and watch the internet and then lock their ass up. Let me finish with this. President Trump's educational plan creates a historic demobilization of the federal sector and demantling of the U.S. Department of Education. This is Google right here. And the transfer of its function to the states and other federal agencies. Didn't we just say this yesterday? Somebody was like, she's lying, right in her face, right in her face. The hell? Am I the only one that can read? Shit. Let's just finish this. Structural changes to the federal oversight. Dismantling of the Department of Education. Trump signed an executive order directing the Department of Education to submit a proposal for its closure and to redistribute the $100 billion budget to the states and other agencies. So this is where they feel like we're going to be getting the money. Mind you, they probably distributed, I don't know how they're going to distribute it, but hopefully they distribute it based on the number and the population. But at the end of the day, even when that happens, the states with the lower amount of money, they get a lower budget. And guess who get hurt? People like you and me who are in the lower states, and then the lower number of states, like the smaller states, and then our taxes go up, our kids' education goes down, So that $100 billion to go over all the states in the United States, and ICE is at least getting $112 billion for one fucking fiscal year for their main budget. I'm sorry. I'm a stickler for education. Stop playing with me. This is a fucking problem. So let's start right here. I want to say, guys, thank you for being here with Miss Grace and dealing with me. I appreciate you guys. I love to have freedom of speech, and I want you guys to have freedom of speech. And I want you guys to realize that they're taking away from us every which way they can. And we're just sitting here arguing, talking about, are you a liberal? Are you a liberal bitch? Are you bald-headed? No, we got to wake the hell up and realize what's going on. So until that day happens, you're going to be having Miss Grace Levi doing what she needs to do, being the soldier of the Most High Yah. Because that's the only gang that I'm in. Let's get it. Hit the like button. I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Have a blessed day.